All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the little change up that we have with starting off the Broadband Hui. I am Shola, and I am the Digital Equity Specialist for the County of Hawaii. And I would like to also have Marlo introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Marlo. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista for the County of Hawaii.
As most of you guys know, we are missing a really big component of our crew right now, but Riley will be taking on being the executive director of NELHA. So if you guys want oysters or lobsters, he's your guy. I'm just kidding. But today with the agenda, we are going to be doing the last bit of our policy overview for folks, and I'm also just dropping the link to the agenda in the chat. And just to kind of start off with our mana'o as well. I know we have a small crew today, but that's okay because this will be recorded, so everybody can see the last bit of these meetings. Okay, and let me just put my slideshow. All right, and so today's mana'o kala is a kulia i kanu'u, and this means to strive for the highest. Thought that was a really great one to have today. I just feel a little bit, it's wet and dark and cold here in Hilo, so I felt like I needed something to perk me up. So today is kulia i kanu'u, to strive for the highest. Okay, and just to go through our agenda as well, just so that everyone knows, we are going to be taking a little bit of a change here in the Broadband Hui. We are going to be monthly, every month will be topic oriented. So as we had the previous Broadband Hui meeting for February, we were talking about all things Hawaii legislation and policy. So we did a little overview of how bills are created here in the state of Hawaii. Some of the important information to kind of look at, and how to kind of be active in the legislative sessions. Today we will be finishing that up. And we are going to be doing a small little Kahoot just to kind of get our brains going with the information that we shared on the last Hui. And then we will be finishing up our policy session by just kind of doing a brief overview of all of the different broadband related policy bills that we have out right now. And I just kind of want to kick it to Chung for a little bit, just to give us a little update on any of the policies that we have or on any of the bills that we have going on right now. And then we can start off with everything.
Thank you, Shola. Sorry I had to leave early the last time, but I did get a chance to see the recording. And I ditto Kieran's comment that it was very well put together, and thank you for doing that. One thing I want to add before I give my update is that always know what you can, cannot, should, and should not do at certain points of the legislative session. So just know that things are happening and what you can do at certain points of the session, right? Because so you don't want to engage the legislators too early, and if when the timing has passed, it has passed. So it's so don't try to catch up. Always, look forward, know where things are and at what point things need to be done. So for example, like, the posting requirements, legislative internally for hearing notices. So if you go there and try to engage a day before the committee report needs to get filed, it's too late, right? So you need to plan things out, much ahead of time so that, to meet the legislative deadlines of the agenda posting requirements, the hearing, and filing of the committee report. So just know what you can do, right? And at certain points of the legislative session. And I'm open to, help in any way if you have questions. Okay, so updates on what we're tracking right now. There are two bills in play for us that's affecting Hawaii Broadband and Digital Equity Office directly. One is the HB 934, which moves HBDO from DBED to DAGS. So that moved out of the first committee and is going into Finance Committee next. So if you want to provide input, you should think about doing a testimony already, right? So generally, Finance Committee will do a long agenda, so they'll hear a lot of the bills that moved out of the first committee, or it could be the second committee, depending on what the situation is. And they're the last committee to hear it, and they'll just have a long list of bills that they're gonna hear that day. So just be ready and prepare your testimony ready if you want to provide input. Not much to say on that. It just moves us, from DBED to DAGS. The second bill that we're tracking that's in play is the SB 1061, which is relating to digital equity. That establishes a pilot digital navigator program. And that moved out of the Senate's first committee and is gonna go to Ways and Means. Not much to say about that either, other than what's interesting though is on the House side, the companion bill got deferred. So it'd be interesting, as it moves to the legislature, and then when they cross over to the other other half of the legislature, what's going to happen, right? So, but just know that what the House said, there's some truth to that. There is a digital navigator program that we're trying to do out of the non-deployment funds with BEAD, right? So we'll see how it all plays out. One of the interesting things though, it requires certain number of support in specific locations. And then we'll see if, we'll see what happens. But if you want to provide input again, know that the Ways and Means, they'll take the testimonies, but they won't allow you to provide oral testimony. So basically it's a decision making for Ways and Means for the most part. There will be no public oral testimony, but they do welcome written testimonies. On the finance side, they will allow oral testimonies to be presented. So kind of keep that in mind too as you consider testimonies for these two bills. There are some other bills that we are monitoring. Doesn't affect us a whole lot, and we've not been providing any testimonies, but just monitoring them to see, what they do and if it does affect us. Because sometimes there will be amendments out of the blue, and it might become your problem, or your might be something that you should be concerned about. So for that, we monitor certain bills because there's a chance that we could, HBDO could be pulled in to that discussion. But that's it for me, Shola. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. You did give us a little teaser of a lot of the things that we're actually going to be talking about in the PowerPoint. But Dan, did you have something?
Yeah, I think that there's some concern about HB 934, like it restored to its original language. And so we we don't want to be where we were last year. Thank you.
Thanks, and Karen.
I have a question for Chung. There just kind of piggybacks on Dan's comment. There was an amendment made in ECD on HB 934. that specifically it amended the measure by excluding the deployment of broadband infrastructure for the provision of retail service from the authorized users of the Broadband and Digital Equity Special Fund. Can you share with us what that means, and why do you think the legislators push that forward onto the amendments, and what are the repercussions and of what's the other side of it from your perspective?
Thanks, Karen. Your guess is as good as mine. We were surprised too with the amendment, but I guess there were some discussions between the chair and the I'll just say it. So I guess there was a discussion between charter and the chair, but I've not followed up with either of them to see what that means. So yeah, Karen, I don't want to publicly say my personal position, but it was I was surprised. So but we can certainly ask, what that really means. I do have a meeting with the chair on Monday, so I'll ask him what that really means. But yeah,
I think it would be a pointed question. I think the unsaid piece is, from the source of it, there's certainly a different direction that conversation can take. But I think asking what the intention and whether it's legislatively synced with what the bill is trying to do, right? I mean, it kind of goes back to the battle of the veto we had last year. And, and I hate to see that come to that point, but I'd be curious just to ask that question, because if something's amended in a bill, there's a reasoning behind it, and whatever that may be. But there's to your point, something that's said and there's something that's unsaid. But asking the question, I think, is a really pointed thing to ask.
Yeah, I will ask him. It is his bill too, right? He introduced the bill, so he does have a lot more leverage on how he's going to shape it coming out of his committee. But yeah, certainly we can ask for clarification on what that really means. So I will ask that question.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, everyone. If you guys have any other questions for Chung, you can hit him up with an email. It is listed on the bottom of the agenda under the HBDEO section. You can find their emails and ways to contact them over there. So just to kind of go over the different bills going on right now, let me share my screen. And we're just going to do a rough overview of bills that relate to broadband for this legislative session. Chrissy also did send me another bill, which was really interesting, about telehealth. Thought that would be really interesting to share with folks as well. Marlo put together this wonderful PowerPoint presentation. Thank you always. Just an overview. So we are doing the overview of the bills. And then after this, there is the little Kahoot we will be doing. So everyone pay attention, because the answers will be on that Kahoot. And the questions will be on the Kahoot. Okay, so this one, we are going to be talking about House Bill 935 and SB Senate Bill 1061. So this one has a companion bill. So if we forgot, companion bills are similar or identical bills being introduced in both houses. We have the Senate side, we have the House side, and then we do a switcheroo. Right? We do the crossover, which they are also talked about in the different houses as well. So this bill relates to the establishes and appropriate funds for digital navigator pilot program. to offer technical assistance with computer and electronic devices to residents. This will be a 2-year pilot program. The locations for these digital navigators will be on Oahu, Hawaii Island, one on Kauai, and one on Maui. Next bill, it is relating to the Hawaii Broadband and Digital Equity Office that Chung was talking about. And so this is following HB House Bill 934 and Senate Bill 1062. And this will be transferring HBDEO from DBED to DEGS. And this is the Department of Accounting and General Services is what DEGS stand for, if folks didn't know. And this establishes the Hawaii Broadband and Digital Equity Special Fund, in which the funds will be used to support broadband projects, defraying the costs of internet services, funding positions for personnel to provide technical assistance to the community. And this is a bill that helps to also support in appropriating funds. Next is SB Senate Bill 1045. And this is relating to broadband services and infrastructure. And so this is just also the information taken from the ledge. So transfers HBDEO from DBED to DEGS, transfers the broadband duties of the DCCA to HBDEO. Yes. Creates the Hawaii Broadband Infrastructure Special Funds. Funds will be used for administrative, operational, and personal costs related to the office. It helps to expand broadband infrastructure, including renewal or upgrading the infrastructure system. It also adds to provide additional investments to support broadband in Hawaii. There's also a clause to disband the Hawaii Broadband Assistance Advisory Council. Requires the Information Technology Steering Committee to oversee and manage public advanced telecommunications technology infrastructure. So that is infrastructure that improves the ability of broadband and also adds to appropriate money. Yes, Karen.
Forgive me for the question. I just don't know the answer to the Hawaii Broadband Assistance Advisory Council. Do you know that is a council that met previously that no longer meets, but it has no connection to this group, correct?
I am not too sure. I'm sorry I couldn't give you an answer.
Chung, do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a advisory council that's pretty much defunct. I mean, I don't think it meets anymore, so it's a cleanup.
Okay. But
Okay.
it's not connected to this group. No.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Just checking. I didn't know. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarity. I was also very curious as well. Okay, next one is Senate Bill 1091. This is one that is also for monitoring. So this is relating to remote work assessments. And so this one requires the comptroller is sorry, to periodically access telework eligible allocations of employees of certain state executive departments and agencies and notify these employees of their ability to telework. This also establishes a position within DEGS and also adds to the appropriated funds. The next one is Senate Bill 757, and this is relating to libraries. This is another one more so just to be monitoring. And so this requires reasonable terms and license agreements for digital literacy materials between libraries and publishers, preventing unfair licensing practices by publishers. Also defines prohibited items for license agreements between libraries and publishers, such as unreasonable pricing and restriction on loans. Also declares offer of a license agreement with a prohibited term, an unfair or deceptive act. Make a license agreement with prohibited term void and sorry, my brain is broken today. That word right there. And lastly, creates rights of action, the right to file lawsuit by libraries, library officers, and borrowers. Another one related to telecommunication requires this is pretty much the same one, right? The first one was House Bill. Sorry. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Did you have the telehealth one on here, Marlo? Well, anyways, okay, so for everyone's information, the other House bill related to telehealth that is in monitoring, this one is going to be House Bill 557, and that is related to telehealth. And this bill ensures the continuation of telehealth services in Hawaii, including audio-only visits. So this bill also stops short of making permanent changes related to federal payment parity and other telehealth advancements due to the ongoing uncertainty in federal healthcare policies. It extends existing support until 2026 while they are still awaiting clear federal guidelines. Let me just drop that in the, let me just drop that in here. Just another one to monitor. So yeah, so just a few little tidbits on the different bills. We will also be providing a little bit broader descriptions of the different bills. It will be on top of our Google Sites. If people definitely want to take a little bit more of a visit on it and just take a deeper dive on it as well, we will have that available for folks. I hope I emphasized, you know, some of the different answers to the question, because now we are going to be starting a Kahoot. Let me share my screen with folks. There's a sound to this as well. So if folks want to pop out your smartphones, just scan the QR code. We will be doing a short little Kahoot. It's not that hard, I promise. It's really simple. Can you hear the songs that's playing on it? Yes? And there's 24 of you folks on this meeting. I want at least 10. Four, 6, 8. I need 2 more people willing to take this Kahoot. Marlo, you don't count because you put it together. There will be no prizes at the end of this game, unfortunately. 2 more takers. Okay, I'm just gonna start then. All right, so we are doing the Broadband Hui legislative questions. Okay, so the question is, what is a bill? A bill is a set of principal guiding decisions. A bill is a law already in effect, a formal proposal for new legislation, or an amendment to an existing law. We got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there was 2 answers to this question. Marlo threw in a doozy. It is a formal proposal for new legislation and an amendment to an existing law. Good job. Hey, Kim, good job. All right, next. Which department will oversee HBDEO if SB 1045 is passed? The Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, the Department of Budget and Finance, the Department of Accounting and General Services, or the Department of Human Resources Development? And the answer is the Department of Accounting and General Services, which is DAGS. Oh, here we go, some competition. Next one is a true or false. Following the second crossover, a bill goes right to the governor for signing. This is true or false. After a second crossover, the bill goes straight to the governor for signing. And the answer is false. Okay, next one. If both chambers pass different versions of the bill, it goes to, oh, sorry, this is the answer. It goes to a conference committee first to fix any discrepancies. Next one. Who would benefit from the SB 870 relating to telecommunications? Residents with disability, Kauai residents, Alice residents, or all of the above? So Alice folks, if you guys don't know, they are people who are just above like that low income threshold. The answer is all of the above. Oh, good job. Okay, we are halfway there. Which of the following is not a step in the legislative process? A committee review, a crossover, executive orders, or a policy enactment? Which of the following is not part of the legislative process? And it is the executive order. That is not part of the process. 7 of 12. If the governor vetoes a bill, what is required for the legislator to override it? If the governor vetoes a bill, what is required for the legislator to override it? 2/3 majority in both chambers, 3/4 majority in one chamber, simple majority in both chambers, or the bill has to be rewritten. And it is 2/3 majority in both chambers. We got 4 more left. What does the Digital Navigator pilot program offer? It offers access to online courses for skill development. It offers funding to purchase electronic devices, offers free Wi-Fi hotspots at state facilities, or it offers technical assistance with computers and electronic devices. What does the Digital Navigator pilot program offer? And it is technical assistance with computers and electronic devices. Good job, Pam. So the question is, what happens during crossover? The budget is allocated for the bill's implementation. The governor signs the bill and it becomes law. A committee votes on whether a bill should pass, or a bill moves from one chamber to the other. What happens during a crossover? It moves a bill from one chamber to the other. Two more, true or false? If the governor ignores a bill for 60 days, it automatically becomes law. True or false, if the governor ignores a bill for 60 days, it automatically becomes law. Right, it is false. And the answer is, if the governor ignores a bill for 90 days, it becomes law. And this is the last one. What does SB 757 require in terms of agreement between libraries and the public? Was it public or publishers? Publishers, sorry. No licensing terms can be set by publishers. Publishers must offer reasonable terms for digital literacy materials. All digital materials must be free for libraries, or publishers must create digital materials specifically for libraries. Sorry, that was a lot of words. And it is publishers must offer reasonable terms for digital literacy materials. Yay. This is so cute. All right, good job, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the Kahoot. We hope that was informational and fun. Kieran, here we go.
Sorry,
Yes.
I had a technical fail on the Kahoot, so I didn't do the quiz. I did put in the chat, I just want to point out, I think it's SB 1045 is not moving, so that one's, I know that I checked the rest of them. So of all the bills that you shared, SB 1045 is the one that I asked the question about the Broadband Council, if you can correct. So that was not scheduled for a subject matter hearing, and the deadline to be scheduled for the first hearing was February 13th. So basically it's dead.
Okay, we'll take that one off the list then. Okay, yeah, we will take that one off the list, but we will still provide the rest of the other ones that are alive on top of the website. So no worries.
Awesome.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
that. Thank you so much. Honestly, for us today, that's kind of the last bit. Oh, Chung, sorry, did you have something?
And so one of the things we try to do is track what's going on internally as well, not just publicly. I would say just keep that on the radar for now, because there might be some contents of the 1045 that might get pulled into another bill. So just so that we're aware that that has been introduced. And, you know, if you just look at the bill, it's very comprehensive, right? So there were some discussions to draft that bill. So just keep it on the radar for now until maybe the first crossover.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, yeah, definitely will do. That was a very long and extensive one anyway, so we will definitely keep that one on the bottom of the list. Dan, did you have something as well? You are muted.
Okay, thank you. Well, muting me is sometimes considered a good idea. But what SB 1045 and HB 934 is it? Are those both administration bills, or what's their relationship?
No, they were all introduced by the legislature. So the SB 1045 was Senator Keo'oko'ole, and HB 934 was by Representative Iligan. So they were all legislatively introduced. Although we try to provide as much input as we can so that, you know, when it's drafted, you know, it's doable, right? I mean, yeah, thanks.
So the administration doesn't care whether these bills pass or not?
No, we do care. We do care because uh, obviously moving HBDO from PBET to DAX, um, it's a big effort. I mean, even though we're a small program, already like in anticipation of the move, there are all these things that I've been starting already from, January to make sure that there's no gap or any pause in, especially like employment, right? Like, because that's one of the things that happens, right? You're moving one employee, employees from another department to another one. So we just want to make sure that there are no gaps and, you know, um, trying to make it as seamless as possible. And we want the work to continue, right? And not have a pause. So yeah, we do care. Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, everyone. For us, that kind of concludes like the last bit of our policy overview. We will be providing the list of bills that we will be monitoring. It will be on top of our website, which Marla will be dropping in the chat. So with that, we just kind of wanted to put a topic of discussion up for what folks want to be talking about in March. On the agenda, we have 3 topics that we would like people to just kind of vote on, and we'll build content on that. So the first one will be connectivity options. And I know for us, our focus really was on broadband, but understanding that there are other technologies out there for our really unique communities would really give us an understanding to be able to provide connectivity in our very unique communities. So if folks would like to move towards the connectivity options for next month, our entire month, we will be talking about that. There's another option for grant writing. So like a grant writing 101 with the capacity grant coming up. I thought that would be a really good way to just kind of, I guess, brush up for folks on our grant writing and how to develop. And then the last one will be developing a project narrative for projects that you would like to have in your communities. So if you guys, I don't know how we want to vote this, but topics of discussion is connectivity options. So we will bring in other businesses that provide internet connectivity to talk about what their technologies are and how it is different. There is an option for grant writing 101. And lastly is developing a project narrative. Thoughts, feelings on this? Dan?
Yeah, I'd like to hear more regular report from UH. Some of these RFPs are coming due or have come due. You know what what are what are the details of some of these things? So I think UH, we should ask UH to report on it.
Okay.
And every meeting, an update on kind of what's going on, what's due. I mean, I don't mean that to be critical, but when you're moving hundreds of millions of dollars around to be spent, I think we would like to hear about it, and maybe we can help them, as you say, by mobilizing communities to help on regulatory issues and so forth. So that would be my suggestion. UH report every meeting.
Okay. Okay, so I have votes for the connectivity discussion. So that's what we will be talking about for the entire month of March. If it bleeds into April, then it will bleed into April. I really think that will be a great resource for folks to have. And all of the resources that folks will be discussing will be available to everyone on our Google sites. With that, does anyone have any additional questions? Anyone have any additional thoughts? I can let everyone go early. We're all good? Okay, cool. Mahalo everyone for joining us today for our short Broadband Hui meeting. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I've been seeing people popping in every week, and we are doing it on a bi-monthly meeting. So we are meeting every first and third Wednesday of the month. I will see you guys on March 5th is our next meeting date. We will be talking about the different types of connectivity options we have in our islands. And with that, I bid everyone a happy Wednesday, happy midweek. Have a wonderful rest of your week and be safe. Mahalo, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.